What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be checking out the new Hasbro Avengers Infinity War. This is Iron Man. So just how tall is Iron Man? Let's go ahead and grab the tape measure. He's exactly... Well, actually, that's not true. I was going to say he's exactly 6 inches. That's not really true. He's about 6¼ inches in height. Check out these accessories that come included with Iron Man. For starters, he comes with this cannon, which looks like it has something that should technically fire on the end. Although, try as I might, I can't actually remove it, so it looks like it's just molded or attached to the actual handle portion. I think with the armor in the upcoming Avengers, it looks like Tony Stark, based on the trailer footage and stuff that we've seen, his armor can actually manipulate and make new constructs, so this might actually be an extension out from his existing armor to give himself like almost like a arm cannon. It doesn't look too bad. It looks very alien in design. It's got a little bit of gold here. Otherwise, just been cast in red plastic. Yes, there's a little bit of this translucent, almost greenish sort of plastic, which is almost closer to being a soft rubber. But yeah, it doesn't look like you can actually remove it. You can attach it only to one hand, unfortunately, as his other hand is extended out, finger-wise is extended out for his repulsor blast. It kind of seems a little obnoxiously large for Iron Man, but this is basically how he holds it. I guess theoretically you could also take the handle portion here and do some sort of kind of over-the-shoulder cannon as well, but it does look a little on the awkward side, and package artwork actually has him more so holding it. And then there's this little tab point here, which we'll just put the figure here for a second, as he does come also included with his Infinity Stones. I have to admit that they are a little on the weak sauce standpoint. There's a gold plastic underneath and a translucent green plastic on the top there. You've got the symbol featured on the front, which will vary from character to character, as you will see as we have a look at the entire wave of these. There's a little hole. I was about to do it, but I should have mentioned first, there's a little hole on the underside that tabs into the back of Iron Man's cannon. I looked onto Iron Man to see if maybe there was some other area in which this could also plug into place, but the answer would be no. A big fat no. There's no place. Nor can you actually put can't put the cannon anywhere either. One time that I would think that the figure would have had a hole in his back, that you could have somehow adhered, maybe like this. You could have attached this to his back or something, or you could have attached the Infinity Stone. The Infinity Stones don't seem to do really anything other than just look somewhat decent as a stone. Apparently there is Hero Vision, where the Infinity Stones provide power-ups in the Hero Vision gameplay. I'm assuming as being like an app-driven game that's going to coincide with Avengers Infinity War, so I'll keep my eyes peeled. I don't like saying that. See if I can actually find this said game. And I don't know, again, I don't really know how these specifically work. It must have something to do with here. Maybe you scan that. I don't know. Anyways, we'll put that to the side. You'll probably see this happening a lot because each one of the figures, at least of the basic class figures, all come with this sort of Infinity Stone. Like I said, coloring and stuff will vary though. So having a look at the new Iron Man suit, it's not bad from the standpoint of being a basic figure. He doesn't have much in the way of paint, granted, and favoring more so just the red molded plastic that they've given his body. It's really devoid of much in the way of additional paint, other than maybe the gold, and of course some additional blues and stuff like that, which I can only imagine being the light up options of Iron Man. They ended up going with painting it blue as the indication of light rather than white. I guess white seemed probably as if it was going to be too bland, I guess, that they end up going with blue. Blue for the arc reactor, blue for his eyes, and then blue on these little side areas of his armor, basically where all the gold is. he has the additional blue. Actually, that's not 100% true. He doesn't have it at the back there. It feels and screams to me like he really should have had some additional paint, maybe a darker wash, something to this, because he's got some really great looking sculpts. Like, the detail on him is really nice. Unfortunately, without additional paint, it really just gets lost. Speaking of getting lost, no, not you. Speaking of getting lost, his Repulsor Blast extended hand, his fingers that is, you can see that they've left the arc reactor, or the Repulsor Blast, completely vacant of paint. Not that this hand gets any bit better. Both of them are sculpted, but neither of them have necessary paint, which is a bit of a shame. In fact, actually, what's so funny is if you look at the back of the package here, even the back of the packaging, it clearly shows that his Repulsor Blasts are also not painted in. So at least they're not trying to mislead you to think that that's what it's supposed to look like. Although I have to admit, the metallic red looks good on here. I wish the metallic red also carried over to Iron Man here, who instead kind of gets the coloring of what I could only describe as like a ketchup red. There's a bee, once again, in the back of the figure. Didn't really have a look at his face. Digging the new design of the Iron Man suit for this particular movie. It's very streamlined. And unfortunately, again, like the figure, being basic as it is, doesn't have really much in the way of posability. We'll talk about that in a second. Overall, I guess he's one of the weaker of the figures that I've picked up. He is one of the weaker looking sculpts, benefiting sadly only by the virtue of that he's really all red anyways, but really some additional paint could have gone a long way on this guy. Okay, so let's talk posability. To no surprise at all, I suppose, this is all you can really do with his legs. You can swivel them forward, you can swivel them back, that's it. Can't hinge them out. No bend at the knee, nothing at all in those regards. He does have peg holes on the undersides of his feet, but to be perfectly honest, he stands A-okay. No problems whatsoever. His head is on a ball joint, hinges up and down. I guess, whoops! I was gonna say you could hinge his head up if you want to pretend like he's in flight mode. Try not to fly his head though across the room. I guess that's about as high up as the head actually can go on this guy. Shoulders hinge outward very comfortably, I might add, and a lot wider out than I expected it to be. By that, you can also rotate the arms all the way around. By that as well, you can also rotate, or I should say bend at the elbow, and rotate at the hand. Again, we've already looked at the legs. The arms, unfortunately, this one not being as bad because, well, they are pre-posed. This one will always be doing this. I mean, granted, you could have the arm hand down, but it's always going to be extended outward. Not a bad looking Iron Man, if you do buy the basic class figures. This is about on par with what one would expect to get from the basic class figures. It's hard to really say whether he is missing paint versus what you would normally get with a basic class figure, because in all honesty, he's very red. This suit specifically has a lot more red and a lot less golds and silvers that you could... It's really hard to look at this and not wonder, could they have added more paint? Maybe no, as we will have a look at the other figures. I think some of the other figures have better paint, but still very much basic. I am so shocked to believe that I would be saying the following words, but I wonder if maybe this figure could have had a little bit more bells and whistles, a little bit more of gimmicks. And before you jump all over me, I'm just thinking to myself, the fact that the Infinity Stone really only plugs into the back section of his cannon, I wonder if maybe they could have added some additional peg points on these figures where you could have put the Infinity Stones in other areas other than just, say, for example, on Iron Man's armor, other than just the cannon. Because this Infinity Stone could have gone on his arms if they had some extra pegs, could have maybe even gone on his back. Then ultimately you would have a Iron Man that just looked like a porcupine. So I guess they would have to keep it at a very bare minimum. Speaking of bare minimum, the figure isn't bad looking, but unfortunately because it is a basic class figure, it really doesn't have a whole lot in the way of posability. You know, Hasbro as they are, do like to promote two different class of figures. One being the more simplified characters that quote unquote the kids would want to pick up. And then you have the more posable articulated figures that tend to be a little bit more expensive, and those are the Marvel Legends figures. If you are looking just to get a regular run-of-the-mill Iron Man, this figure is not bad. It delivers what it needs to do, but of course it's really hard to kind of gauge whether this guy was skimped on paint by the virtue of the fact that the figure generally is, or the character in which the figure is based off of, is primarily red anyways. Maybe when we have a look at, say, the likes of Captain America, or maybe like Black Widow, it may be a better read as to how much paint are on these more simplified looking figures. Again, not a bad looking Iron Man. Unfortunately, he just is a little limited when it comes to posability, and the arm cannon really doesn't sit in any best way without looking slightly awkward in his hands. Today, though, we were having a look at the new Hasbro Avengers Infinity War. This was, I guess, the Hero Vision or Infinity Stone basic class figures, and this specifically was Iron Man. Like I said, there's going to be more videos of these coming your way. I've picked up the entire wave of Avengers Infinity War figures, so lots more videos are going to be coming your way, all from the Avengers Infinity War. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't had a chance to hit that little subscribe button down below, stop what you're doing. Don't go out. Don't make plans on the phone. Just hit that little subscribe button down below, then you're good to go. Then you'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos coming onto this channel. And like I said, more videos are coming to this channel, so stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.